the meeting to order. Let's do attendance.
Mira,
You're okay.
present.
Dukniak here.
Grosvenor here. Let's stand and do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no correspondence and I don't see any citizens. So we'll continue on with that. We need approval of our minutes
So
on
moved.
October 15th. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. We'll have to do two separate motions, one for the November voucher list. Somebody can make a motion to approve the voucher list for November.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Voucher list for December then.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carried.
Okay,
Now comes the good part.
maybe. Good evening. Start with Jim Shabilsky has stepped down from the commission. Hopefully tonight we will have a confirmation to bring us to 4. We're still down 1. So I would ask the mayor to search number 5.
I have, and I believe I have a solid candidate.
Good.
So hopefully next month we'll
Yes,
be at 4.
but he'll be up for tonight.
Right. We're doing fairly well on meters, considering the time of year. Still some call. We're kind of in a tricky neighborhood where the valves aren't always working in houses, so they're instructed not to break them. We will come back if we can't get on the curb stop and shut them off. So that's kind of hit and miss, but little by little we're
Do that one
knocking
more
them
time.
off.
Do that one more time. What's not working?
The valves at the
Or-
meter, there's a
at the
valve
meter.
below and above.
Got it.
A lot of people use the top one. They never use the bottom one, which
Okay.
in this case, the bottom one's a critical one for us.
Right.
If we can't turn them, we're not breaking them because
Yeah.
we don't own them. So let them know, try to reschedule. Or,
These are all inside the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must try to turn it off at the curb stop though,
if we can, or some are buried.
because you had to dig up in front of my son's house.
Well, that was.
We had.
That one that we had
Two. Our own
ended up
house.
breaking. Nut broke off the top.
Oh,
of the
really?
curb stop.
Great.
So he's got a brand new one.
Well,
But
they,
yeah, because of the meter change out, that was
and they're a plumber's coming to put in a new
So
valve.
got a brand new curb
We
stop.
had
So
Great.
meter reading, we'll do our final read for the year this week. I did contact Oak Creek. I'm going to have they read our master meters on a different cycle than we do. So I've asked them to also read those this week, Thursday or Friday, the day within. To then in March do the same thing, just to see how they correlate. It might tell us nothing, might tell us something, but it doesn't hurt to know exactly. We will know what we brought in through the pits and know what we build. Just for more information on our lost water. Something easy to do, so we won't really know that till April.
And they're willing to do it.
Yeah. Well, he sent his guy an email to do it this week. Yeah, pretty much everything else we'll have on the agenda, so we can probably, unless there's any other questions.
Leak detection. It's an item. I was going to ask about it, but it's an item.
Yeah, it's an item.
And you have all the meters you need. You're not waiting for meters.
No, yeah, we're good and coming? Oh.
Hmm.
Guess we'll address that when we get to that item. Or send you something. Well, carry on with unfinished business.
Okay. Lover's Lane Water Tower and Water Main Project update.
Water tower, as you drive by, you'll see the pedestal is done, the tank is done. That's as big as it's gonna be. You have to drive by to see.
On the ground yet.
Yeah.
When's it supposed to go up?
After it's, they don't have a date, but I'm just guessing on weather, probably not till June.
Oh,
Just-
okay.
Because they'll paint it.
Yeah.
They'll paint it on it. I mean, depends what kind of weather we have in spring.
Yeah. So it's a
Spring drags on, well, then that drags on, but they're still working on the inside, putting the stairs in. I don't know if they're 100% done welding, but by middle of January, but they'll probably be pretty quiet until they can come back and get after it. So, contract C,
Who's doing the inspection on the tank? Do you have like Dixon or something?
KLM.
What?
KLM.
Okay.
I haven't, I know they've been there for weld inspections, but I haven't seen it.
Got it.
Could you spell that for the record?
KLM.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't get
Careful, you're sitting closer.
I know,
Right?
right? Careful. He's threatening me.
Sure,
It's on. It's on recording now.
Contract, as you know, we had 3 contracts out there. Contract A was the first piece of water main, which is done. Contract B is the tank, on-site water main, which of course still in progress. Contract C, I believe we just made progress today, which will be happening in spring. So there's some discrepancies with ARPA language and payment product. I think we,
Got enough cleanup.
yes.
Baba.
Yes. Mayor's favorite new term,
What's that?
Baba.
valves.
Oh, love valves. I learned so much about valves and what's made.
Where they're made.
And where they're made and how
Buy
much you.
American, build American. That's the Baba requirement.
Okay.
So that,
How's the contractor? Oh, okay, because remember when we awarded that, we didn't have any,
that's
or
what
we had
we've
very
been,
little experience.
there's gonna be a change order coming forth to cover some costs now going into they were gonna start in October, and so it's gonna be a pretty small change order for using ARPA. I think it's fair to,
Oh, I see.
cover their subs, because their subs weren't prepared for that
Yeah.
condition. So it'll be coming,
But you
But
said
you're
the
saying
first
small
segment's
money?
done, right?
what was that?
The first segment's done? Water main?
Yeah, so this will be the piece from the water main, or water tower to the old Citgo station.
Okay.
So, which will start March. Weather-
But the first section, the contractor was fine?
They signed up, but I don't think we used ARPA money for that, because that was paid out.
No, but their work product, their work was
Oh.
good?
Yeah,
Because that was the
That's-
contractor that we didn't have a lot of experience with, if I remember. right.
they did a relay in the city of like 7,000 feet some years ago.
Okay,
Vinton, which is doing C, I think was more of the,
okay. Yeah,
but
that's fine. Okay.
they
Okay.
were vetted, and
I was just wondering
so.
how they performed, because now that it's done. But fine.
Yeah, Vinton didn't do theirs yet. They'll be starting.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought they did.
yeah. It was Vinton that we were.
Okay.
The discussion was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's, unless there's more questions.
Next item then B, DPW campus utility.
This one I don't think we talked about a lot here.
No.
It does involve some water main. It's been bid. It's happening. This one is ARPA funded. Language was in the contract. There's no questions. This was started months ago. So this was kind of
It's the
a
issue.
cleanup item to get it to where we're at. So it's mainly a sewer line to service DPW, which doesn't have sewer yet.
Okay.
But when the subdivisions south of Public Works were built down on 76, like Oakwood,
Okay.
there's a 16-inch main that feeds that all the way down to Oakwood, but there's only an 8-inch feeding the 16. So that's, so with this, we worked in tying in the 16 that's at the end of the cul-de-sac there by the lumber yard, bringing that up to Ryan Road. So it will be a
16.
true 16 on 16
Okay.
as part of the DPW campus utility project. So it's already done. So I don't think about that project.
We did.
So yeah, that'll be starting. They want to move in the end of January. Plan to be done by the end of February. So I can keep you updated as that moves forward. Anything else on that one?
Who wants to move in? Something like somebody's gonna move in, or?
Well, the contract,
Contract.
yeah,
Got
they'll
it. Okay.
mobilize.
Thank you. Okay, item C, I don't think we're gonna
I
do.
wasn't able to get a hold of her. No, I tried calling.
So,
Sorry,
what we-
she's primarily done this piece along with you a little bit, along with Glenn, and I've not been part of it, but I know she's also been working with one of your person
Yeah,
over
right,
at the
yeah.
city.
called her. I know she talked to her.
Yeah.
So if there's no budget, what happens?
Well,
Yeah,
there is a
doesn't
budget,
get paid?
but, well, there is a budget, but it's not right this
Not approved.
today. I mean, that's, the budget's been approved by the council, the budget's been adopted by the council. I mean, what?
Water budget hasn't.
Oh, the water budget
Budget.
hasn't
Water,
been through.
yeah,
this.
standalone.
Right.
it's separated. So, I mean,
Other than that, it's a special meeting if we had to have one, but she could, if you actually physically are calling her or you're just texting her.
I did call her. There was no response.
Why don't we keep
and I
moving
texted.
forward and we're gonna get a hold of her somehow and she can be here remotely.
Otherwise, I'm assuming it just continues under last year's budget and we approve.
That is exactly what happens, yes.
Sure.
Okay, then we're okay. We don't wanna be with it. Okay.
We want Glenn to get paid.
You want what?
We want Glenn to get paid.
Well, he was getting paid under last year, so he'll be fine. Okay, leak detection survey update?
Well, it was, since we last talked, we were just starting.
Yep.
So 2 months ago, we've found a lot, some substantial, I believe.
Are you gonna tell us?
Valves.
Are you gonna tell us anything
What
substantial?
was the substantial ones? What, like,
Like at least 10 gallons a minute from a valve that was going right into a storm sewer.
Oh,
So, I mean, that once we started to repair, people were like, oh, that's what that noise was.
Oh, my goodness.
So, like for 6 months, probably, since that, I mean,
10 gallons.
it was getting, I mean, you could stand there and hear it running, in the storm sewer. And as soon as we fixed it, the storm
keeping the
sewer
pond
was dry.
fresh?
So,
What's that?
Keeping the water in the pond fresh?
Is that a residential area then?
yeah, these, as I brought in a piece over there for you to see. This is what the bolt should look like.
Yeah.
This is what we're finding.
Oh, my.
And sadly, this bolt is from 1992.
Let's pass it.
So they didn't use the right bolt?
So they were not stainless steel bolts. It's all PVC pipe, but no stainless steel bolts, and the bolts are disintegrating, and that's not promising
Nope.
And is that something that wasn't done
for that
correctly?
age.
Is that something that wasn't done correctly?
It was inspected as stainless. I mean, the install is fine. It's the hardware that holds everything together. Keep the pressure in.
This was done when?
1990. That's in Wyndham Hills.
This is from Wyndham Hills?
Yeah, when they told me that, and there was two.
That's
There was two right next to each other that we did,
Yeah, that's not good.
and,
So we learn from this so that we specify all that sort of stuff. And
oh,
make sure
yeah, it's been stainless for some years.
I take it wasn't wrapped.
It's not in 92.
No, wrapped beautifully. I mean, nice, very nice wrap job. That's what really shocked us. I mean, you know, in wrapping anything that's metal, we wrap in plastic to keep any dirt. It's not to keep the water away, but just to keep any stone, any
Well,
the
and
clay.
Get to it in
The
the future.
clay is
yeah,
what.
there's a lot of stray current in the ground. It happens. Causes corrosion. Metal. So that's what. And if you don't have stainless steel or
Which that's a stainless steel bolt in there. But just it's not
you have to
good.
have the right stainless steel also. So sure Mike probably knows.
So, so the one, well, the valve that was leaking the worst was on the east side of town. And then, of course, to get a shut off, then we broke the valve next to it because, well, it's no better than the one that was leaking. It's just turned into a very expensive one. And everything in the road costs more.
Yeah, the city charges you probably an arm and a leg road, hey?
No, just, well, we pay the cost of, well, it's the slurry and the
Yeah.
asphalt.
Yeah.
You know, we don't luckily necessarily pay a lot for labor, thankfully, but it's everything that goes with it. And this one was 1975 and 74. And I think,
Jack Bennett's stuff.
Well, wasn't 92 also his?
oh, yeah, that had to be right
So,
in the area when things were changed, I gotta believe, stainless mandate.
I don't know. I don't remember.
When they're in 2000.
what's the expected life expectancy of these? Is it just forever, indefinite?
Those should last 100 years.
What's the expected impact of this? I mean, how many of these exist in the city? I guess more.
Well, I think the next conversation will have to be discussed is starting some relay work. Because, well, you see the piece of main I brought in, that just didn't start leaking one day. That actually blew the road open. That was separate from the leak detection. And then, but having these bolts on ductile iron pipe, and I think we'll have to do some research on where the roads are the worst before they get repaved, because no one wants to tear up. But some of these areas have been repaved, but not that we can.
Happens.
We can't relay the whole. Pretty much 3 neighborhoods are.
Are known impacted? Is it basically like the
Well,
summary of it? You know, if your neighbor-
it can happen anywhere in the city,
right?
honestly. We're dealing with it too. I mean, it just part of
Yeah.
doing business.
I mean, so. I
Get
think
the
it's
spec right.
taking some time to. That's going to have to start somewhere. Yeah, that piece of water main was on the west side, center of the, like 60th and Drexel. That's where this one's from. And the main there, we had to cut a piece of main out, and that main is starting to, it's actually a bell, so it's in the bigger round, and the pipe itself is starting to like wear away.
Yeah.
Very kind of oddly, but
Well, that's what happened.
so I mean,
So with the leak survey, they've been obviously listening to all the valves. They should be, right?
yeah, we didn't just to what was budgeted for. I mean, we did. I didn't get the report back yet. Working on it. I said 80%. I mean, we did all. Pretty much what we didn't do was stuff within 5 years.
Okay.
PVC.
Yep.
maybe 10 years, but
Yep.
We did a good chunk of the city. I mean, and you can see when we found a fair amount besides the main breaks we had, which they didn't. We had one on Rawson, on a 16-inch main. That's a dig of 10 to 12 feet deep. Concrete repair.
Right.
That wasn't cheap. But we've had numerous patches on that piece of main. So I guess, yeah, it's gonna be.
Do you keep records of where all the main breaks are?
Not in GIS. I mean, we do a report of the
Yeah.
address and
They should put them in GIS
No.
because at some point down the road, then you'll
to
see
pull it, right.
you'll see where the bad, and you'll see see what years pipe was put in, what's bad and what's not, and then
And
that's how we go about it because our system's a lot older. But we try to track where it is so that you can see what years what that pipe was put in. So if like 1957 pipe is bad, okay, where's all the 1957 pipe in our system? Let's concentrate on relaying that.
Right.
Bad. So, if you have like when were the valves installed under this spec, hopefully you can figure out where they were. And then you start to budget to replace the bolts on them. Start replacing bolts 10 a year, or whatever.
Right.
You start replacing them so that you're not dealing with leaks all over the place.
Is this report where you are so far? Or is this complete?
We're doing one more lateral tomorrow, and then everything we know of, besides some of the hydrants that are valved out currently, started working on hydrants this week.
So can somebody already tell how much potential water loss we had? We can expect an improvement?
In the report, they're going to try to calculate what it was, so for the most of this year, past year, I couldn't get reads from one of our meter pits with Oak Creek because they had to replace the meter last year, and it just took forever to coordinate. Is different, so we couldn't get it was reading. Oak Creek was charging.
Sure.
But we couldn't see it on our side in SCADA because of the wiring or the pulp out of mine. So finally, November, we got it working. So, and I don't see a big drop. I mean, that's I was like, but here again, we could be 100 to 200,000 gallons different, just depending on how full our tower gets in it. One day, if we don't fill, it could be a variation of that too. So I mean, it's.
Well, what was our water loss at? I mean,
It was ridiculous.
which is
Yeah, it was 19 point something, I thought.
it was 20. But how many gallons do we?
I thought it was like 100 million.
That I don't know. I do remember.
It
I
would
could probably
probably
find
2
it
billion?
in the past.
around 2. Maybe I would say it's got to be around. For how much sales we have every year? In the budget, it would be in the budget, but I don't have my old packet. Oh, yeah, that's right. She'd have
Give
water.
the annual report, or no?
She'd have water.
Well, that was the hopes to have everything fixed this quarter. Now we can hopefully
Yep.
January, quarter one of 25, we can see some progress. If we don't see progress,
Well, I'm just wondering.
You're going to tell us you're going to see progress because water consumption will go down.
unbilled. Well, we should bring less water unless people are using more water.
Right.
But our our bill from Oak Creek to what we bill should be tighter. You know, I mean, there's always going to be some lost water, but yeah, we should have tighter revenue, what we're bringing in. You know, I would.
Yeah, 'cause
It's hard with some of the businesses to know too what they're doing, and
we don't care what they're doing as long as they're paying for it.
right. But like, you know, what I see, you know, 100 to 200,000 difference between a day could just be how much we filled the tower. You know,
Oh, I see.
If we didn't fill it as high the day before, or didn't get as empty as the day before. You know, there's always that variance, but we didn't see it like a steady drop of 300,000 like that. I haven't known.
Because what you've given us so far is what you found. So you're saying it's very difficult to tell you what that is going to turn around to be in saving in water loss.
That'll be more when we do the meter read the meters, what we get billed.
Right.
You know, that's more accurate, and that's why I'm hoping getting Oak Creek's numbers the same time we read, we can be more, you know, might be a couple million, but we'll be more accurate.
So it
But we
looks like
won't get that until
Not that, because they usually read a week to a week and a half different from us,
Sure.
so it's harder to gauge what happened in time, because we're always reading different time from what they're billing us.
But that next thing that you're going to be able to tell us what the difference could be would be when?
April.
Oh, that's a long ways away.
So it looks like it's about 1.1 billion gallons a year is what we purchased.
That's
20% water loss, be about 200 million gallons.
yeah, that's what I thought I remembered.
Well,
And like what I brought in, you know, you see that hole, and it's hard to tell when did that hole actually open to the point of it surfacing. You know, I mean, it's a good sized hole. How much has been running out before it surfaced for us to fix it?
well, it's the
I mean,
same
we
thing
could
with Ross
guess-
and Avenue. How long was it leaking before it came through?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a science to know how long
Something's
it's
been,
leaking till it
yeah,
punches a hole big enough to come to the surface.
right. Well, that's about 380 gallons a minute. So if you catch,
Well,
if you got,
yeah.
you could cut that by 10%. You fixed, a couple hydrants. They were,
Right.
10 gallons a minute.
And one earlier this year was basically an inch and a quarter line, service line that was severed.
That was just going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, some of those will add up really quick.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's 200 million gallons. It's a lot of water. Don't get me wrong, but it's 380 gallons a minute. So when you put it in perspective to gallons per minute and how much you're saving,
Right.
like on the valve, there you go. I mean, you're saving.
Hopefully
Right.
we'll see a difference.
Right.
But it seems because of what we're doing, leak detection needs to be almost done yearly.
And I'm gonna look into like what they were. I don't know
Yeah.
I don't think what they were using is very costly. It was just a
Right.
simple listener, and part of it is we need to find all the curb stops too, which we don't have them all exposed. That's going to be a project for next year. And what I did have in the budget, it was here, is pretty low amount of money for us to get our own.
Listener, I was just gonna ask.
Well, GPS collector.
Oh.
So we can actually, we don't have many, the only curb stops we have GPS are new construction. So we can get into older neighborhoods, find them, bring them to the surface, locate them, so we know where they are.
Yeah.
And listen to them at that time.
Well, yeah. Do we have a listening device?
Well, besides you know,
You can get it.
which it works.
Because they're not, yeah, I mean, no, you can get a better one.
But yeah, I want to look into,
Getting one
we
of those.
have, it's kind of a fancy, but just like the simple one they use, it's just,
Yeah.
it works well.
Yeah.
So, I gotta believe everything we found is going, well, besides the main brakes, which of course one was on Black Friday. But
Should we get a discount? Sale item?
no,
Valve
unfortunately,
set.
no.
It's 70% off.
just a couple apartment buildings without water, so.
Well, and again, how many valves out there have bad bolts and are dripping?
Well, and that's where it
You know,
starts.
and you're not gonna hear that, you know, that if they're dripping, you know, you're not gonna hear that, but you have a bunch of them out there, and it all adds up.
Well, and, I mean, knowing that, you know, a neighborhood from 1992 is a problem, I'd have never thought to keep an eye on that neighborhood until we saw
Although 92 is 30,
Well,
years, 30 years old.
Wait a minute here. It's not like 12.
Well, and that's, I mean, we
32,
have,
that's the year I got married. It's a great year.
I mean, we did relay the oldest stuff in the city a number of years ago in Rawson Homes, you know, but I think we got to kind of get back on a program of chipping away at some of this. So, and with that comes a,
Right. Well, that's unfortunately. I mean, we shoot for 1% every year. So we have 350 miles, right? We shoot to relay 3.5 miles a meter. Franklin's a newer city. I mean, it's a younger city, so you wouldn't think that you'd have to be that high yet. But we have to start looking at how high we should be and start budgeting, building up our budget to get to that point.
right,
So,
so.
yeah.
So, it's been a busy 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at least the leak detection survey seems like it was successful.
Yeah, that's,
Found some things, and we fixed them, and let's see what it brings.
And that was, being so late in the year, that's, I kind of told Danielle, let's not do any plan for next year. I mean, we can do some stuff ourselves, but let's see where this gets us. So, I mean, we had a very short window to try to budget. Well, this was kind of already after the budget.
Do we have a GIS system here?
Oh, yeah, very.
We should. Are we tracking some of these things, like the age of pipe and?
Yes, yeah, there are some maps that can be pulled.
I mean,
Type of pipe, age of pipe.
yep.
So,
I mean, because then you'll know how many valves were installed in 90. You know, if you can figure that, I mean, they have that, then you know that.
right.
You can kind of start working on valve replacement. Just do a couple, and maybe there's some hot soils in some areas you have to worry about. And, yeah, unfortunately, we're a bunch of clay. That's our problem. Okay.
okay. Election of officers, I'm suggesting that we still forego this. Let's have to.
Sure.
The only thing we're missing
Well, you
is
should
we're missing
be-
a secretary.
Oh. Let me say.
Sorry?
Let me say.
Since you're already typing in a laptop, you've got an edge and everyone else.
Actually,
Habit.
actually, the job of secretary is not that tough because,
Just take minutes.
no,
And you have to run meetings when he's not.
Roll call. Oh, and.
verbally, everything goes in and then Sherry does the minutes for us.
Oh, okay.
What happens is you'll end up signing documents.
Okay.
You know, like what the voucher list, would sign that
Oh,
with me and anything else that comes up. Are you willing?
You're willing? All right, then
Want to make a
why don't we
motion?
just nominate you as president and our secretary, or you as chair and her sec? I'm good with that.
Is that, okay then?
Okay, so make the motion for president.
So moved.
Dan? Mira, you second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Secretary?
I'll make the motion as secretary.
Second it? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Well, that's enough.
Congratulations.
It is
Your
like
pay
this
is double.
easy.
Your pay is
Awesome.
doubled.
Yeah, no, mine says 4 times. 4 times nothing.
So thanks for being willing.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, ready for new business?
Sure.
Let's go A. Approval to proceed with the design of the water main along St. Martin's Road, I-100 from Hughes Road to Elm Court.
So, next year, Highway 100 will be getting rebuilt.
Early spring.
Yeah,
actually. We're trying to beat WISDOT and their Ryan Road, Highway 100, all the work that they have planned on there, and try to be forward thinking with this, because we realize that if we're not kind of closing these gaps and jumping in before WISDOT does their projects, we are going to earn a significant expense compared to right now. But additionally, something I had learned recently is that we have in our ordinance certain, I guess I would refer to them as like blackout times where you cannot touch streets, that sort of thing. And I imagine that the same probably goes for WISDOT and any repairs they do, that there's a certain time that you're not authorized to run with projects. And whether or not that's the case is one thing. Regardless, we have a project that, for whatever reason, a substantial chunk was left out. And so our belief is that in order to make it so that the system is not compromised in any way, we complete that. But we also, obviously, we are up against WISDOT's project. And if we don't complete before that, then we are looking at substantially more expensive project. We're just trying to make sure that we're not compromising what's going in there.
so what is not written, so I guess if you're looking at this one, okay,
Between
It
the
goes-
two, right?
so this is Highway 192nd Street, like going out to the country. This is all 16. So the piece that's missing is a piece of 16 from Putes Road to there. That's 16, which is meant to then eventually make it all the way out, is only fed by 8 out of Elm Court.
Dotted orange.
So yeah, I kind of put that on there because eventually it needs to get out to, back out to Loomis Road, down the road.
Yeah.
But with getting in with WISDOT coming in, that kind of like, oh, we should try to jump on this now.
I appreciate being
I mean,
proactive.
I know it's late for all of us, but it's kind of, and Rafe did a fairly, I think, accurate cost, because Danielle's not here to necessarily talk funding.
They were conservative on the estimate that they had provided, but when you look at the whole system and the water tower that is planned and underway, this gap, it doesn't make sense that we would have that and that we would leave it as is versus fixing what we now know is an overlooked section.
Has there been communication with areas?
There is not yet.
District is
One.
one.
Which we've been trying to
I'm sorry?
figure out.
Yes, yeah, we were in the process of scheduling just time to sit down with him and talk to him about the various projects that seem to be hitting all in his district, but just to, kind of get ahead of things, make sure that he is on board and also able to speak to what we're looking to do and why, and be able to provide that, that level of leadership to his constituents, as they call, and they ask questions, and that's where
Basically, when this, if this goes through, it'll just go through. The residents won't pay for this.
We would assess, and they would have lateral, they would have access to the water that they don't now.
But they have the 10-year deferral, right? Or
That's, we've had conversations about, I believe that's the standard
yeah.
policy.
Well, that's helpful.
I know one of either 9518 or 9520 in years past, they have requested water, but it was always, they would have to run the main, which, you know, so there have been requests from one of those two properties in the past.
How many properties are involved?
There would be potentially 10 services, 10 properties. There's the nursery, they already have water off of them. They do. So yeah, it's just with everything else going on, just that's why it's not been brought to you sooner.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, we keep unearthing. One of those that,
So this project is $750,000, correct?
What's that?
Possibly, yes.
But if you're doing it ahead of Wistat, then you don't have the pre-reconstruction.
Correct.
Right over.
Well-
Does this get bid out with them?
No, they're done. They're out. The
they're
bid
out.
is in. Yeah, they're starting March, April.
Oh, so,
And
okay.
Grace
there
is
has been like preliminary talks with them and placement, and because we have a pathway going in there as well on that side, and if we're in the pathway, we need slurry, but if we get it out, is there a window there where we can spoil backfill, which I believe this estimate took in slurry.
Yeah, I believe it did.
Yeah, because that's pretty high.
Yeah, they went worst case.
Right, exactly. Very conservative on what is potentially the maximum that would be required on the project.
And
So-
unfortunately,
So the project is, I'm using $750,000,
Yeah.
but, and you told me you have 10 property owners, approximately. Is that the whole stretch, or is there some of the stretch that nobody is? So that it's just the city money?
well,
Good job.
it'd be utility money to, you know, pay what assessments don't cover 100%.
Right.
Plus, it's going to be a 16-inch main, which
So
I
you're
believe,
oversizing.
yeah, which assessments are based on 80.
Right, so all overs would come to the city cost or expense, however.
Yeah, so,
Looks like there's some properties with pretty big frontage.
Which may hit the max, for, you know, there is a maximum, and not, you know, not to exceed.
Right, and then the city,
And these people have asked for it previously?
Either 9520 or 95.8, they're two very close properties there.
but it's only
Houses.
2 people versus 10.
What?
Yeah.
So if they don't want water, we'll put it in anyway,
the lateral, like, yeah.
the
line.
main.
They
The
don't
main.
have to hook up,
Right.
but they would be assessed.
But they would be assessed no matter what, however, the level of assessment would depend on if they wanted to hook up or not.
I would,
Because it's improvements to their property,
Right, well,
no matter what.
I would foresee running laterals to everyone, unless.
Yeah, I mean,
I
they're
mean,
gonna
depends
want
on-
them eventually, but
Lateral to the-
assessment
lateral to the
shouldn't
property.
change whether they hook up or not. The assessment's the assessment.
Right.
So It's just whether they hook up or they have to connect it from the property line to their house.
It
Because
was,
they're gonna get assessed for the main and the lateral.
but some projects were being built without lateral.
Really?
So then there wasn't, the lateral wasn't,
Wasn't part of the assessment.
yeah.
Like
But
the
that kind
Lovers
of
Lane
really
Road.
convolutes.
Not the farm state, but. It's up to you.
No,
Contract A
I
and
would
B.
foresee,
Contract A and B.
it would be my plan to put all laterals in.
Yeah.
And then then there's the connection fee.
Well,
After
so
that.
we're approving this. Does it have to go through the process, public hearing with, okay.
Yeah, this would just be allowing us to get a design and take the forward steps, you know,
Okay.
proceed with the
Yeah, pretty
bid,
much, yeah.
do all of the assessments,
Move it
everything.
forward from what we've been discussing at our level. Let's get a project.
I can tell you
Design.
that one of the first phone calls since things have changed around here, August, that I had joined Wista, and we had gone through their projects that are in our area. One of the things that they had implored us to do is that we are looking at their projects and trying to
Yeah.
plan. I don't know why, because apparently all these projects have been in the works with them for years. It's out there, the
Oh, yeah.
information's available. So why it was not
Because a lot of
included.
times you can bid right with them.
What's that?
Which we have on other.
Yeah, and then
Right.
the coordination's a lot easier.
Right, right. And that's the thing, you know, we're trying to fix the order of operations here. There's a lot of like phase 2 comes before phase 1 sort of projects that I've seen. And obviously that is going to predominantly be at the detriment of the city and our expense. We're trying to fix that and make sure that we are capturing these overlooked pieces and encompass a full project, do it the right way from beginning to end, and obviously avoid significant costs that we would incur by opening up or impacting their road work that they're doing this coming year.
So you needed approval to authorize the design. There money?
Ready for a motion?
Yeah, I believe that, I'm trying to remember which one was where we had the money and where we didn't. I want to say that,
Well, if Danielle says there's, like we've talked about, she knows that this is on there. So
yeah,
didn't
she
say-
wanted this to go
She
forward.
didn't say,
Yeah.
do not put this on there because.
Okay, but we don't have to be concerned about approving any dollars for the design.
Well, any bid would come back.
So you're just going out for bids.
Get the design finished and, yeah, I mean, we're against the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm
Get done
looking at
before
the
DOT.
fiscal note, it was not planned, not budgeted. However, we are well aware that there will be substantial differences in the cost of doing it now versus later. Like everything, it feels like it's a very, very sharp increase in expenses across the board.
So we need a motion to approve the,
Motion to authorize approval to proceed with the design of the water main along West St. Martin Road, Highway 100, from West Pews to West Elm Court.
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Yes.
Item B, resolution for amendment number 1 for Fourth Infrastructure and Environment LLC. Agreement for additional design services on the Lotus Lane Water Main 32,009-08-28.
So this has been sitting for some time, waiting for action. And
I was gonna ask about that because it's 2022.
it
Yeah.
will, it's gonna go to council tonight as well. Basically, this is the state project that's wrapping up now between college and Ross, and both helped us with hydrant relocation, plus the new main we installed along the frontage road. So this is basically getting us finish out their portion of work they've done.
Zero balance.
This is at 30.
No, I'm saying
Oh,
it's to
yeah,
zero
they're-
the balance on
Yeah,
the front, yeah.
right, yeah.
To finalize, close the books, you know.
Like in the other one.
Yeah, no.
Well, this is pretty simple, we just need a motion.
Yeah, so we owe both $33,000.
Yeah.
Motion to approve addendum number 1 for the Lovers Lane Water Main Project and authorize payment to Cloth Infrastructure and Environment LLC for additional services rendered.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Have a wonderful holiday, folks,
Thank
You as well.
and we will
Wow.
see you until next year.
Yeah, isn't it